Hello, I am David Delcoma, Product Marketing Manager with MFM Building Products. Today we are going to demonstrate MFM's recommended method of installing our WindowWrap line of products. WindowWrap is a family of self-adhered window and door flashing tapes manufactured by MFM. We will use different WindowWrap products throughout this video. Welcome to the job site. The house you see being constructed is by DCS Companies, located in Greene, Ohio. Don Schultz, owner of DCS, is a custom builder of fine homes, and this house is no exception. Let's get started. Doing all of the demonstrating today will be Paul Bratton, MFM Technical Support Specialist. This first window was actually added by the homeowner after the house was framed and house wrap installed. As you can see, the builder cut the house wrap flush on all four sides. Typically, you would cut only the sill and header flush, then wrap the jamb sections into the structure. You should never wrap the header section of the house wrap into the structure. If any moisture would get under the house wrap, it would funnel directly inside the wall cavity. It is critical to follow this step. Instead, cut the header flush, and as Paul is doing, cut two 45-degree cuts in the house wrap. Fold this section of house wrap out of the way and secure with a staple. You want to secure the header section of the window wrap directly to the wall sheathing. Now the rough window opening is ready to begin the flashing process. You should always start by flashing the windowsill first before the window is installed. To flash the sill, Paul will be using WindowWrap Flex, a 70mm polyethylene crepe film with an SBS adhesive system. Since this house was framed with 2x4 wall studs, Paul is using a 6-inch wide membrane. You want to cover the entire depth of the sill with the membrane and have enough to wrap onto the shear wall. If this house was framed using 2x6s, you would use a 9-inch wide membrane. Paul starts by measuring the rough opening, then adding 6 inches for each jamb section. You want to extend the membrane up the sides of each jamb by at least 6 inches to create a waterproof barrier. A good trick is to mark both the center section of the rough opening and the membrane to help make centering the membrane easier. For this window, Paul will remove the release liner from the entire membrane before laying into the sill. Paul positions the membrane in place, then starts smoothing the membrane from the center out using hand pressure. The biggest feature of WindowWrap Flex is that the membrane stretches onto the shear wall. There's no need to make any cuts in the membrane that might lead to a future leak. Start in one corner and stretch the membrane with your hands out and over the house wrap. Smooth out any large wrinkles with your hands to eliminate large gaps in the membrane. Move to the other corner and repeat the process. Use your hands to smooth the rest of the membrane onto the wall. Then complete the job using a hand roller over the entire membrane. Now that the sill is finished, the builder is going to install the window. What is key to note here is that you should never flash the bottom of the window itself. If the window would fail or moisture would get into this section, you need to allow that moisture to drain out of the window. Flashing this would prevent that from happening. This is a good time to point out that all of our WindowWrap products are self-sealing. This means that the membrane will seal around nails, staples, or other fasteners to prevent any moisture from infiltrating the structure. Now with the window in place, it's time to start flashing the two jamb sections. On this window, Paul will be using WindowWrap PSX-20, a 25mm aluminized polymer film with an SBS adhesive system. He starts by measuring each jamb section. Start approximately 4 inches above the top of the window, and then measure just below or flush with the sill membrane. Do this on both sides of the window just to be sure. It is always better to cut the membrane to length as opposed to trying to maneuver the whole roll. Here, Paul removes just the top section of the release liner and positions the membrane in place. Moving slowly down the jamb, pull the release liner and press the membrane into place as you go. You want to make sure that you cover the nailing fin of the window. Now that the membrane is in place, roll the entire section, making sure there are no large air gaps. Never stretch or twist the membrane if you get off course or if you have a large gap. It is better to just use a new piece of membrane on that section rather than trying to stretch the membrane. Repeat the same process on the other jamb section. Always work deliberately to ensure the best seal possible. As always, finish by rolling the entire surface of the membrane. To finish the window, Paul measures the header section and adds approximately 4 to 5 inches on each side of the window to fully cover the two jamb sections. Once again, it is important to note that the header membrane should be secured directly to the shear wall and overtop the nailing flange of the window. Paul secures the membrane in place, then slowly removes the release liner as he works across the window. Smooth with your hand as you go. Once the membrane is completely in place, roll the entire surface. Now that the header section is complete, remove the staples holding up the house wrap and fold back over the window wrap membrane. Seal the 2 cuts in the house wrap with some extra pieces of window wrap. That completes the installation of this window. Again, we used WindowWrap Flex on the sill and WindowWrap PSX-20 on the jamb and header sections. On the second window, we want to show how to flash the sill using a straight flash product instead of WindowWrap Flex. As you can see, there's no house wrap because this window is actually on the exterior wall of a closed-in porch. WindowWrap products work just as well here, just as long as the substrate is clean and dry. Paul will be using WindowWrap PowerBond. It is also a 25mm membrane, but uses a patented PowerBond adhesive system, which aggressively adheres in temperatures as low as 25 degrees Fahrenheit. When using a straight flash product, there will be cuts in the sill membrane, so Paul is using 2 small sections of WindowWrap PowerBond in the corners to prevent any infiltration of water. These will end up being covered up. Place the small section into the window corner and stretch the membrane out and onto the shear wall. Repeat the same step in the other corner. Now we follow the same process as we did with the WindowWrap Flex. Measure the width of the windowsill and add 6 inches for each jamb section. Here, Paul lines the membrane in place without removing the release liner. Start at one of the jamb sections and secure the membrane in place. Slowly work across the windowsill, removing the release liner as you go. Smooth the membrane with your hand to avoid any large gaps. Since this membrane is not designed to be stretched, you must cut the membrane and fold it out and onto the shear wall. Using a sharp utility knife, make a diagonal cut and wrap the jamb section out and onto the shear wall. Move to the other corner and repeat the process. Now carefully fold the flashing tape onto the shear wall and smooth by hand. As always, roll the entire membrane, making sure to achieve maximum contact with the substrate. Next, we have the builder install the window per the manufacturer's specifications. Just like before, Paul flashes the 2 jamb sections, carefully rolling each section after installing. And finally, Paul completes the header section. If you are not getting the desired adhesion, or if the temperature is below MFM's recommended installation temperature, you can always use MFM spray adhesive. That's it, another window install and protected from any potential air or water leaks. These WindowWrap products also prevent noise and insects from infiltrating the structure. On this final window, we are using WindowWrap Flex PowerBond on the windowsill. It has the same composition as WindowWrap Flex, but it utilizes the patented PowerBond adhesive system. PowerBond is a 2-part adhesive system which remains stable at elevated temperatures while adhering in colder temperatures. It is a much more cost-effective solution than butyl adhesives. On the jambs and header section, Paul is using our final WindowWrap product, WindowWrap White. This membrane is also 25 mils, but has a white polymer facer, which is preferred by some builders. It offers the same performance qualities of WindowWrap PSX-20. Now that Paul is wrapping up this final window, we would like to thank DCS companies for allowing us to use their job site for our video. To learn more about DCS, please visit www.godcs.net. As you may have noticed, WindowWrap PSX-20, WindowWrap PowerBond, and WindowWrap White proudly show the imprinted AAMA and ICC logos. These 3 products comply with AAMA 711, National Quality Standards for Window Flashing Tapes. In addition, these products also comply with the International Code Council's acceptance criteria for flexible flashing membranes, which is ICC-ES AC148. MFM's report number is ICC-ES ESR-2783. These product approvals ensure that when you install our WindowWrap products, you can be assured that they will exceed your expectations for quality, performance, and value. To learn more about MFM Building Products line of window flashing tapes, please visit our website at mfmbp.com or by calling 800-882-7663 to talk to a technical specialist.